Hello lovely people, in this video we're going to be talking about 5 things from cycling's past that should make a comeback.
Retro cycling.
Take 1. So after our conversations today we've picked out our top 5 retro things that are just
Due for a comeback.
Due for a comeback really, yes. So, number 1, Uno.
Right, we picked non-anatomical handlebars. Well, you know, there were 2 main bends. The Eddie Merckx bend, which is a very straight bend with quite a deep drop on it. You don't get deep drop handlebars anymore. And the ones that Roger de Vlaminck used, which are more curved in the corners, so you can get a good position on drops for sprinting.
For those of you who don't know what anatomical handlebars are, essentially a lot of new handlebars, they have sort of like an angle where your hands fit. Rather than being curved, they have like a straight bit where you're meant to grip. But they don't always work that well.
These are pet hate of mine.
Yeah, so
they give you a very limited choice of hand positions. They give you a very limited choice of brake lever position.
Yeah.
And we've just been having a play around with your new bike, and in order to get a good position on the drops and the tops, you end up with your brake levers like they're 6-shooters firing forward almost, you know, and it's a bit rubbish. No, I mean, old handlebars were a work of art.
Yeah. Bring them back. Yeah. So number 2 on the list is white socks.
White socks. Socks should be white. And also, they should be about 3 inches above the top of your shoe, not halfway up your calf muscle.
3 inches above your shoe.
Yeah.
So, oh no, that's too low.
No, that's how it should be, mate.
No. Okay, well we can just agree to disagree.
Yeah.
I like my socks. What's it? Illuminati says, you know, it can be an inch below your calf or something like that, or a centimetre below.
Well, that's 4 inches then, isn't it? Okay, well let's not argue about an inch.
So,
but not halfway up your calf muscle. Ew.
Yeah, not halfway.
Lance Armstrong's got a lot to answer for, not just the cheatage.
Mainly the socks.
And he only wore those socks that long, don't be fooled, he only wore socks that long so you could clearly see the Nike swoosh on them, that's why he did it.
But yeah, so you're saying all socks should be white. What about colour of shoes? Do you have an opinion on that?
Shoes should be black,
oh,
clearly.
White socks and black
I'm actually
shoes.
a bit more relaxed about that these days.
I mean, my shoes are orange.
I remember I had a pair of white shoes at one time when nobody else had them. And I got quite a lot of abuse at the time. I was the first one that I knew who had white shoes. I also had a pair of blue shoes.
Blue?
When, you know, you get a black or white. I tell you what, they were proper Smurf boots. Diodora blue shoes. They were really nice actually, but you couldn't locate the cleats properly, but that's another story for another day.
So, number 3, this is one you've chosen. So what is it? What is
cycling clubs. There are still some absolutely awesome cycling clubs out there.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to name any because there are some brilliant clubs that we've been involved with and they're still going strong.
Yeah.
However, it seems to be the fashion now to start a team. Get some sponsorship, get a team. And what's happening is youngsters are starting racing, doing fairly well, and the next thing is they want to get in the team, they want to get the free bike or the free jersey, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's a mistake.
Don't do it, guys.
Learn how to race. When you're good enough, somebody will come to you and offer you all the bells and whistles
all of the bikes
that you need. You know, it's more important to learn to race, and the minute you go in a team, you're on your own pretty much, and you're cutting off a very important social aspect. So for me, let's get back to the old school club system.
Yeah.
You know, teams are for elite riders really, not for up and coming riders.
Yeah, I mean, there's a point, isn't there? But I know what you mean. There's a lot of like novice teams now. Do they need to be teams? Should they be clubs? Should they be taking racing less seriously? I mean, you know, I think you get into cycling because it's fun, and then racing is meant to be fun when you start out, you know. And I feel like if you're in a team and you're having to work for other people, and sort of takes away from the fun of when you start racing, really.
And another very important aspect of that is clubs organise races, teams, as a rule, do not. They ride races, you know,
Yeah.
and we need people to organise races, otherwise there won't be any.
This is true. This is true. Like, I think also with a club you learn about all aspects of cycling. So, for example, some of the local clubs around here, you have to go and help out at an event. You have to help marshal an event in order to be a part of like the club, and you know, and I think that can only be a good thing, really.
Yeah, I think so.
Getting people involved in actually organising races.
Yeah.
Numero
3-0, 4-0.
4-0. This is one that I quite like, chest warmers. So, number 4, chest warmers.
Yes.
So, many of you might not know what a chest warmer is. I'm just trying to think if I've got one.
You had my old one.
Yeah.
There used to be a device made out of chamois leather that was basically a bib that you wore over your base layer but below your jersey layer. And with, you know, the modern technical fabrics, the windproof fibres and all the rest of it, they're not strictly needed. See, back in the day, see what you're wearing now, I used to train in that, and that's basically a sort of woven jersey with a sort of thin nylon top on it. And if it was properly windy and damp, the wind still went through that.
Yeah. Yeah, this isn't very
But
good.
I just think they're so snuggly. Keep that part of your chest warm when you're breathing.
Yeah.
It's a plus, and it's something you could make up for yourself quite easily.
So essentially, to make one, you get a big rectangle of chamois leather. You know, you probably get it from Halfords or somewhere like that.
I'll do it cheap, yeah.
And then you want enough to cover your sort of 2/3 of your upper body, and then cut a hole for your head, and then have a little bit for the back, and then put that on underneath your undervest,
No, over base layer, under top layer.
Yeah, so you put it over your undervest, but you put your shorts over the top of it.
Yeah, shorts over the top to hold it in place.
Got ya. So yeah, that'll keep you extra toasty. I find it's really good, especially if you're doing descents and stuff. Like, it just keeps your chest a little bit warm.
Well, we used to get a copy of the Liverpool Echo and shove it down onto your jersey.
Basically the same.
Same
Either
principle.
that or specifically, you must get the Liverpool Echo.
Oh, Liverpool Echo's the best.
It's the warmest one.
Yeah. Alright, now we're up to number 5. Number 5, steel frames.
Yeah.
Now, think about a steel frame. Your mum has an Eddie Merckx that we bought for her to race on in 1988 or thereabouts.
Long time.
Columbus
Anyway.
SLX tubing. It's still got the original paint job on it, and she still rides it.
And it's still fine. Yeah.
And it's still fine.
Other than, you know, cables have been changed. And
Yeah, it probably could do the respray now, but the fact is, it still works just as well as the day it was bought. If you buy an aluminium frame, after about 2 seasons, the temper goes out of it, they go floppy as anything. Carbon, there's issues with the resin hardening and stuff like that.
Plus, if you crash it, you never
It
know.
just
if
falls
it's-
to bits.
Yeah.
You know, steel is for life. I know
Steel.
it's making a bit of a comeback.
Steel is real.
Steel is real, it's making a comeback. Your fixie frame, for example, sick.
Yeah. Yeah, that's steel with carbon forks.
Yeah. Well, okay. Change the forks every season or 2 seasons,
Well,
and
yeah.
away you go. That'll last you 30 years. Okay. So in conclusion, nice curvy handlebars on a steel frame. Get that chest warmer, especially for the winter.
Join a cycling club.
Join a proper cycling club and stick with them and do your bit to keep the sport going. Very, very important.
And make sure you've got white socks on.
White socks. I know I'm fighting against history there, but I'm just an old git.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes black socks is okay. Maybe if it's
Cyclocross.
raining, cyclocross, yeah, mountain biking. But I wear black socks with these shoes because it would look weird with white socks. Quocs need black socks.
Quocs. If you wear quocs, you can wear black socks. Otherwise, you can't. Find that later. Ha ha.
Haha.
We've done 5 there. I've got at least another 5 that I can suggest
Yeah.
that didn't quite make the list this time, but we're gonna maybe.
Maybe do another one. If you like this video, let us know in the comments and maybe we'll make another one. Yeah, just you see where he's pointing. No, not there. Not at my nostrils.
Not up your nostril, no.
Be sure to risk it for a biscuit and consider subscribing if you're not already. I will see you tomorrow. We're almost at the end of the January challenge. I can't really believe it. Can you believe I've done
I can actually, because it's
that
been
many
really.
videos?
Can I say a swear word?
Yeah, go on.
It's been really f***ing annoying.
So, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If there's any retro things that we haven't mentioned, be sure to leave a comment down below and let everyone know how cool retro stuff is.
I've quite enjoyed helping you a little bit, but I have helped you. It looks like some people have actually looked at the videos, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah. Do you want to do the boop?
Boop!